Awesome. We go back to that. We just like, don't even sing it, just read it. That's awesome. Well, yeah, that was a power song. You weren't kidding. You guys are good. All right. Well, before I start, I know you guys kind of like grilled me just, I hope I didn't pass or whatever, but he told me that I'd get a question about my relationship marital status. I didn't. I made it through the whole way without getting that status, and I'm not telling. No, I'm just kidding.
She said no.
That's why I wasn't going to tell.
Yeah, I know. Busted.
Yeah. Well, I guess for that, I've been dating one fellow teacher at Westbury Christian School for just short of 9 months. She has 2 daughters. One, Audrey, is 10, and Addison is 5. She was previously married, and her husband passed away about 3 years ago. And, but yeah, she's amazing. I was really hoping she'd come, but, she's got like grad school stuff, so. She's getting her master's from U of H in education administration to go along that line, that kind of thing. She teaches middle school science as well, so. But yeah, they're awesome. That's who I try to hang out with during my spare time. I'm better for it, for sure. So to start off, I want you guys front row and third row, because that's where the teams are. What are things raise your hand, something you're good at. Something you're just naturally good at. And tell me your name when you do it too.
My name is Sydney.
Sydney.
I'm good at volleyball and track.
Volleyball and cheer.
My name is Robin.
Robin.
And I'm good at whistling.
Whistling. Do it. Yeah,
I'm Jacob. I'm good
Jake's good.
at
Jacob.
Yeah.
I might call you Jake because there's a kid who I grew up with. His name is Jake, and he looks and walks exactly like you. like I saw you walk, I was like, dude, that's Jake. Just so happens your name is close to it. Yeah.
I'm Kirby, and I'm good at
Basketball. Cool. I coach basketball. Yeah.
I'm Greg. I'm good at origami.
Oregon. Wait, for real?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, I might want to origami before I leave. Yes.
My name's Duncan, and I'm pretty good at band.
Pretty good at that. What do you play?
Trombone.
Trombone. So my dad played. Awesome. Would you like to? You know band? A little overachiever. Look at you.
What can I say?
Most likely to do things.
We heard.
Somebody in the third row. Y'all got anything? What are you good at?
And they're not good at anything. Apparently, they're not good at anything.
What are we good at? Yeah.
Get into it, and I'm good at soccer.
Yeah. There we go. Cool. Here's what I noticed. I work at a school. Here's the big differences between church youth ministry and campus youth ministry. Church youth ministry, they're going to have like X number of people in the church, and that is totally, that usually indicates a small percentage of that. That's where the teens will go. So this church I've heard is around like 300, somewhere in that vicinity. So typically that'll drop to like, for teens it's usually about 10%, give or take, here and there. So there's like 30 to 50 in a youth group. So let's say we go down the road, we find some mega church in Houston, or let's say they've got like 1,000 members. So that means that their youth group will have like at least 100 people, give or take. I work at a school where I don't know where most people go to church. I don't see the parents that often. But the difference is youth group of 30. My youth group this year is 532. So I work with a few more kids. And here's what I noticed. They're all good at something. Okay, just like you guys. Multiple people are raising their hands. And you say, at least you claim you're good at it. I've never actually seen you. Well, you're good at whistling. And you guys are all good at something. Everybody has a gift. Okay? And Paul echoes that and says like the same thing in 1 Corinthians. He goes straight in, and he's been talking to the Corinthians. And if you've never read Corinthians, it's chock full of goodies. But I found this one portion, and this was so cool. This is from chapter 12, starting in verse 7. It It says, now to each one, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for the common good. To one there's given through the Spirit the message of wisdom. To another the message of knowledge by the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit. To another gifts of healing by that one Spirit. To another miraculous powers. To another prophecy. To another distinguishing between spirits. To another speaking in different kinds of tongues. And so to still another the interpretation of tongues. All these are work of the one and the same Spirit, and He gives them to each one just as He determines. Now, I know some of you might be thinking like, okay, some of my stuff is weird. Like, how can I make an origami that's going to draw people to God? Well, there's different ways to tie certain things together. Like when I was growing up, like I loved to play basketball, and I was pretty good at it. But I also loved like Foursquare. Man, I was good at Foursquare. All these like adults would come in at church camp, and I'd knock it off their square, get out of here, and they'd walk off. I was good. Okay, I was really good. And I noticed that people that, after a while, if you're really good at it, people will start to notice you. Okay, I coach AAU basketball. I coach a 6th grade team. What I've noticed is sometimes we'll play in gyms where the 17Us will come, and those are the guys who, like, if they're really good, you'll see them on ESPN before they even get to college. And I'll run into a few of those. We had a guy who played for a high school team last year. He now plays for Baylor. And what I noticed is whenever he went places, like cameras were following him, people were following him, little kids were asking for autographs. And it all depends. Like you look at a guy like Tim Tebow, he made the most of what his gift was. And he used it as a pedestal to broadcast who he was and to broadcast his Christianity. Now, we all have something that we're good at, so let's see how we mesh together with those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, perfect. Okay. Let's see. You 4. Y'all, no, you know what? Y'all 4 stand up. Y'all come over here. You 4, you're over here. You 3, y'all come to this team. And you 3, y'all come to this team. Okay? And y'all can go over there to like give your side some room to manage. Okay? And here's what I want. I want to see some serious skills, some determination, some athleticism, some brains, maybe even some whistling. You don't even know. Okay? What your job is, and I'll give you 30 seconds. If we need more time, we might go more. We need 30 seconds, and you need to form the thing I said. Okay? And every member has to be involved. That's the big one. Every person has to be involved in doing it. Okay? Here we go. Use handy dandy clock and cell phone.
I know what we're doing. I'm so scared.
Okay. Get ready. Get ready.
What are we doing?
Roller coaster. Go.
Okay.
All right, okay. All right, we're going to track. Lay it down. Come on, track right here. Track. Going up.
Gotta go fast.
I need someone's roller coaster. All right, on top. On top.
You better all get involved.
Come on, sit down. Sit down.
Now let's do.
That is terrible.
What you guys doing, also? DJ. No, stand up, stand up. Get on your knees.
2, 1, and time. Okay, right now.
Stay there.
Oh, wait, that's
Stay.
We'll let you guys decide. Which looks more like a roller coaster?
Neither.
Over here. I was going to go with this looks like gymnastics gone wrong, and this looks like these two guys are water sliding. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, let's try different one. All right, we'll try again. We're going to get better. Okay, ready? Ready. And here's it. When I say stop, then I'll look at your group and say go, and then you can do your motion. Helicopter, go.
Oh, no. Okay.
All right, helicopter.
Okay. We need one right in the middle, like this, and then the people around that person. Right here, sir. What am I doing? Now we need to take. One time right here. There you go. There you go. All right, we need to take. Come on, go. 5 seconds.
You're gonna have to hold it up.
1, time. All right, let's see it. All right, let's see it. I got it. Clap, baby, clap. You got a carousel on Tyrannosaurus Rex. Go.
I'm in a little.
Oh, no. Oh, wait.
All right, go back. Someone has to play. Someone has to play.
Pray, not pray. It's gonna happen.
Okay. Get back at it. Apparently I'm sure on top. Raise your hand. What, if you know, what did it take to be good at this game?
Leadership.
Skill.
No, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yeah, there we go.
Time.
Time. To good at time.
Leadership.
Leadership. What type of leadership?
One person to take.
One person to take. Got it. Teamwork. Teamwork. What kind of teamwork? Kind of where you're a team, right? Okay. All right. So it takes teamwork. Here's something that I found. Everyone has a strong inner desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. I heard multiple people say, "I'm all about sports." I heard I'm into band. And here's the thing. Is it Duncan? Duncan playing, regardless of how good or bad Duncan is at the trombone, there is no way the band is good if it's just him. There's no way. Okay? Even if he's fantastic, there's no way it's good. Who's raising their hand and says soccer is in the back? Elena? Elena said soccer. 1 on 11. That's really rough odds, especially if Elena can't use her hands. Okay? And it takes something different to be bigger than yourself. And here's one thing I know. Like, I'm a big basketball fan. The NBA playoffs are happening right now. And I am a huge Oklahoma City Thunder fan. Humongous. I went to, the same time I came to Oklahoma Christian, the Thunder came to OKC. I've actually had an experience where I hung out with Kevin Durant's family and he gave me tickets to his game. I'll tell you that story later. It was really cool. But here's what I noticed. You know, when I thought about it, I thought, you know, I can watch the game on TV or I can go to the game. But here's one thing I thought about. It's free to watch it on TV. Like, sorry, or I mean, I don't have to pay cable, but I mean, that's not very much when you think about it. Especially like if you go to playoffs now, you're dropping at least $100, at least, compared to free. But if you want to go, why would I want to pay $100, but I'm still going to see the game? Better yet, on TV, they change angles and they get really close up on the players. If I pay $100, like the $100 seats, you know your nose is going to start bleeding while you're out there. You can barely see the game. Why would I want to do that? Same thing, I went to the Chris Tomlin concert. He was here, I think, a month ago.
Wait, what did you say, Matt?
Huh? The Woodlands.
The Woodlands Pavilion?
Pavilion, yeah. And I saw y'all. And I was sitting there, and here's the thing, I got Chris, the album he went over with Burning Lights. I've got that album. And I was sitting the other day. I paid for me and my girlfriend Ashley to come out there with me, and I'm sitting there thinking, I just paid $35 a seat for these. Good price, but $35 a seat. I already had the album, and he's going to be playing the music I've already heard before. So, listen to music for free, $70. How does that make sense? But and since I have other witnesses here, I would do that again gladly. Would you?
Yes.
And here's the thing. That is something where everyone was on the same page. Everybody was a part of something bigger than themselves. Even Chris Tomlin was not the main attraction. It was God at the time. And everybody wanted to be a part of that. I could, lock myself in a room or be driving down the interstate and just blare the speakers to Chris Tomlin. I still get the sound. But it's still not something that's bigger than myself that I'm a part of. Okay? To illustrate this, I want to show you that video. To illustrate this, I want to show a video real quick. This is a prank. There's two guys are in prank wars, and what this guy convinces, he's not really around, but he's in a prank war. This guy, he goes to the University of Maryland, and he goes to their basketball gym. They've got a fairly prestigious basketball team. He convinces this guy he is about to take a half-court, blindfolded half-court shot during halftime of the game for $500,000. The whole thing's a scam, okay? He goes out, and you'll see kind of the end of it before. But what he tells him to do is he said, we're going to blindfold him. He's going to shoot the shot. And regardless of whether the ball goes in or not, I want you to scream as loud as you can and act like he made it and go nuts. And we'll take care of the rest. Okay? Go ahead and play that. Here's what's crazy about that. Okay? As cool and as hilarious as that was, here's the truth about that prank. That took, I'm going to go with 10,000 people to put that prank together. All it took to ruin that prank was one person who's willing to say, it's a prank, it's not going to happen, it's not real. And immediately, you're on collegehumor.com. Immediately, this guy would have stopped. He said, I know what's going on. And he would have walked out. But every single person who just one little prank bought in and said, we're going to key in on this. We're going to mess with this guy a little bit. Okay? I think that illustrates something huge. Okay? This is, after Paul has done talking about spiritual gifts, he follows it up by talking about the human body. It says, the body is a unit, though it is made up of many parts. Though all parts are many, they form one body, so it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit into one body, whether Jews, Greeks, slave, free, we were all given the one Spirit to drink. Now the body is not made up of one part, but many. If the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I don't belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be a part of the body. If the ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I don't belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has arranged the parts of the body, every one of them, just as He wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye can't say to the hand, I don't need you. The head can't say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are the most indispensable ones. And the parts that we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. And the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has combined the members of the body and has given greater honor to the parts that lacked it. So there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. And this is where he gets real. Now you are the body of Christ. Each one of you is a part of it. Every single one of us. You know, we look so many times like, well, the ministers, the preaching ministers, or the youth ministers, or the worship ministers, or the missionaries, they're the ones who've got all this stuff. Like, you know, people come up and talk to me about Jesus, and I'm like, yeah, I'll like talk to them. But, you know, that's my role. I'm just a Christian. But Paul's saying, no. You know, some people might do more, but others have to take one for the team. Sometimes two. For instance, let's see. Jake, will you come up here, please? I want to show something. Now, Jake, you look like a pretty strong guy. Why don't you face the audience? Yeah. Actually, I want you to do that, and I want you to hold it. Yeah. Just like that. Now, here's the truth. Check it out. Here's the truth. Okay? When actually, he's flexing this, and what happens is, this muscle right here is actually pushing, it's contracting, it's getting bigger. Wow, what actually happens is this muscle on the side and this pectoral muscle right here, those are pulling. Okay? As in, because this one's showing off and looking awesome, these two are actually getting smaller. That's how the human body works. Everything is either a push or a pull. If I were to raise my pant leg up a little bit and start flexing my calf, what it would be is my quads, they're pulling, and my front shin muscles, those are pulling as well. While this other one's like, thanks, you're so strong. And so every time any part of the body does something, other parts of the body suffer so that other one can be magnified, so that other one can do its job. So many times, like, you know, these missionaries who get all this credit, man, you went to Africa, you sold everything, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. Somebody had to pay for that dude to do that. Okay? And, you know, yeah, you can sell everything and that'll support you for a while, but after a while, you need some help. Okay? You know, and people get honored for doing this and that, but it's the little people that make the difference. Mother Teresa once said, everybody wants to make, whenever they make an impact on the world, they want to be these comets that make these gigantic splashes that changes everything. But what really changes the world is just like the water, because these little droplets of water keep adding up and adding up and adding up until you have an entire ocean. You know, so many times we have different stories that go from one spectrum to the other. Okay, I mentioned my girlfriend's previous husband passed away. She also lost both her parents on the same night when she was 19 years old. You know, and I could look at some stories of students I've had where, you know, students have struggled with drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, you name it. I've met a kid who struggled with it. But here's what's so cool. I'm really good at frying chicken. I'm good at it. That's one of my spiritual gifts. And when I'm frying chicken, here's what I have. I've got flour, buttermilk, vegetable oil, and shortening. Vegetable oil shortening. And raw chicken. And I take, and here's what the crazy thing about it. if you just took one thing, let's take the Crisco, the vegetable, the shortening, and you just finger in there, like that. Gross. Okay. You take the raw chicken. Don't cook it. You know, you're already getting sick just thinking about it. How about the vegetable oil? You know, down a cup of that. Maybe the flour. Do a spoonful of flour. It's like a 7 challenge. So it's flour. You know, or what else did I have? Or buttermilk. I actually know a few people who drink buttermilk, but just straight buttermilk, nasty, absolutely disgusting. Okay. Any of those things by itself is gross. However, when I put all those together and put them in my state-of-the-art Fry Daddy, I become a really good cook all of a sudden. I can put things together, and all of a sudden, I look like a genius in the kitchen. And I like to, take my dipping sauces and one by one, put away that chicken. I can put away a bunch of it because I love it. It's really good. But what's crazy is if I only took one part, it'd be terrible. If I only took, I could go down the line. If I only took one of you, something bad would happen along the way. As great of people as I'm sure each and every one of you are, something bad would happen along the way. The only reason that Christianity works is that we are the body, we are the members. In John chapter 17, I'm almost done. You guys have been awesome paying attention. In John chapter 17, Jesus is about to die. He knows. He knows this is it. He is about to be finished. He's about to be done. He knows the next 12 hours of his life are going to be the most brutal that just about any man has ever faced. And he starts saying this really long prayer. He prays for himself. He prays for the disciples that have been there. Then starting in verse 20 of chapter 17 in John, he prays a different prayer. Starting in verse 20, he says, "My prayer is not for them alone," talking about the disciples. "It's not for them alone. I pray also for those who believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I've given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I and them and you and me. May they be brought to complete unity, to let the world know that you sent me and have loved them, even as you have loved me. Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my glory, the glory you've given me, because you loved me before the creation of the world." Jesus is about to endure 12 of the most brutal hours any man who ever lived is about to endure. And the only thing he can think of to tell God before he is crucified, before he's beaten, spat upon, mocked, and whipped, is, "Father, these people who aren't even born yet, these people just like you and me, may they be one as you and I are one. May they be united so that other people from the outside will see that we are on the same page. May you become more like Jesus. May you get down on your knees at some point and ask God to give you a common, loving bond with those around you. And may we be one, just as the Father and the Son are one. We got one more song. Do we have time to sing it?
Yeah.
And as I close, I'm honored that you guys had me out here. I love being out here. Sometimes we sing youth group songs and people don't know them that well, so I picked the Church of Christ national anthem. So if you wouldn't mind, let's stand up and let's sing as one as we start to play. There is